Draco, noticing your struggle from across the room, can't help but roll his eyes. He saunters over to your desk, leaning on it with that familiar, haughty demeanor. Staring at those notes won't make them absorb into your brain, you know, he drawls, his gaze flickering over your scattered papers. Although, I suppose that's not surprising. You've always struggled to keep up, haven't you? Draco's smirk widens at your disregard. Oh, don't mind me, he says nonchalantly, leaning further against your desk. Just thought I'd remind you of how futile your efforts are. After all, what's a little distraction between friends, From across the room, Crabbe and Goyle throw each other amused glances, clearly enjoying the spectacle. Seeing your frustration, Draco's smirk fades, replaced by a bemused curiosity. He glances at your notes, then back at your face, studying you closely. You're quite the mess today, aren't you? He comments, though there's an odd undertone of concern in his voice. Can't even focus on something as easy as studying. I'm beginning to think you enjoy failing. Draco observes you as you stand, his expression shifting from a smirk to one of mild confusion. He raises an eyebrow, watching you grab your books. Running away already? He asks, his tone now tinged with a touch of annoyance. Don't tell me I actually got under your skin. As you retreat, Draco's gaze lingers on you, his confusion growing. He watches you disappear up the stairs, his usual smirk replaced by a frown. His friends, Crabbe and Goyle, approach him curiously.
Looks like you've lost your touch, Malfoy, Crabbe remarks, chuckling.
Draco scoffs, a hint of annoyance in his voice. Shut up. Something's not right. She didn't even try to argue or insult back. He's never seen you so defeated. You're always pushing back.
Crabbe pats Draco's shoulder, a smug grin on his face. Come on, mate, you're overthinking it. We've got exams coming up, you know?
Draco scowls, swatting Crabbe's hand away. I'm not overthinking, I'm just curious. She's never been that quiet before, and today she just slinked off to her dorm like a wounded animal. Draco pretends to flip through a textbook on the common room sofa, but his thoughts are elsewhere. He glances back at the stairs leading to the female dorms, his mind wandering back to you. Usually he would enjoy taunting you, but your silence today has left him puzzled. He tries to shrug off the thought, but your earlier defeated demeanor keeps reappearing in his mind. What's her deal? Draco mutters to himself, running a hand through his tousled hair. He glances at Crabbe and Goyle, who are playing a game of wizard's chess in the corner, oblivious to his inner turmoil. Draco closes his textbook, the pretense of studying forgotten. He casts one more glance at Crabbe and Goyle, who are too engrossed in their game to notice him stand up. He straightens his robes, takes a deep breath, and strides towards the stairs leading to the female dormitories. Draco stands outside your dorm room, his hand raised to knock. He hesitates for a moment, unsure of what he actually hopes to achieve by being here. After a deep breath, he knocks insistently on the door, the sound echoing in the hallway. Oi, open up, he calls out, his voice tinged with an uncharacteristic hint of concern. I know you're in there. Stop pretending you don't hear me. Draco's eyes widen as he hears your sobs through the door. He presses his ear against it, trying to make out what you're saying. The sound of your distress is foreign to him, and it catches him off guard. Oi! I said open the door! Draco bangs his fist against the door louder, the wood creaking under the impact. If you don't come out and talk, I'll kick this bloody door down. Draco's eyes narrow at the sound of things being thrown around in your room. He bangs harder on the door, his frustration growing. Damn it, open the door! What are you doing in there? Draco's expression softens as the door creaks open, and he sees you standing there, tears streaming down your face. He's surprised by your appearance. You look nothing like your usual defiant self. It's a side of you he's never seen before. Draco steps into the room, eyes locking onto you as you collapse onto the bed, sobbing into your pillow. He stands there awkwardly, unsure of what to do or say. He had come here to provoke you, expecting your usual defiance, but this raw display of emotion has him at a loss. Draco looks around at the disarray of the room. Papers scattered everywhere, books toppled over, and a general mess that mirrors the chaotic state you're in. He takes another tentative step towards the bed, his usual mockery nowhere to be found. Draco's stomach clenches at the intensity of your sobbing. He's used to your sharp comebacks and strong facade, but this vulnerability is uncharted territory. In all his taunts and mockery, he has never seen you like this. He takes a few more steps towards the bed, his footsteps loud in the room. He clenches his hands into fists, uncertain of what to do. Draco flinches at your sudden outburst. Your teary eyes meet his, and the familiar defiance sparks a flicker of relief in him. He's still caught off guard by your current state, but this glimpse of the old you he's accustomed to is oddly comforting. He crosses his arms, attempting to regain his composure. "Just wondering what the hell is going on," he responds curtly, his gaze lingering on your tear-streaked face. Draco raises an eyebrow at your response, a scoff leaving his lips. "You're clearly not," he retorts, his tone tinged with skepticism. "You're a blubbering mess, and your room looks like a tornado hit it, and you expect me to believe you're fine?" Draco takes a deep breath, his annoyance mixing with an odd sense of concern. He crosses his arms, leaning against the wall. "You really think I'm buying that?" he asks, his gaze not wavering from you. "You look like a wreck, and you expect me to believe you're fine? Really?" Despite his initial reluctance, Draco's concern outweighs his desire to maintain his usual snark. He takes a step closer, his demeanor softening slightly. "All right, fine," he grumbles. "What's bothering you? And don't give me that nothing rubbish. We both know that's not true." Draco's eyes narrow at your defensive tone, but he doesn't miss the way your voice hitches at the end, betraying your true emotions. "I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what's going on," he asserts, his tone firm but surprisingly devoid of usual mockery. Draco follows your gesture to the table, where a letter lays amidst the disarray. He weaves his way through the clutter, sidestepping books and parchment, until he reaches the table. Picking up the letter, he examines it, a curious expression on his face. Draco scans the contents of the letter, his gaze moving over the words. His initial sense of curiosity turns into shock as he takes in the meaning of the letter. "Your funds are... they're cutting off your tuition?" he asks quietly, looking up at you with a mix of surprise and disbelief. Draco's usual smugness is nowhere to be seen as he processes the gravity of the situation. Seeing you, usually so strong and defiant, reduced to this state tugs at a part of him he didn't know existed. Why haven't you said anything?" he asks, his voice softer than usual. Draco lets out a heavy sigh as he gazes down at the letter once more, the realization sinking in. He had known you were an orphan, but he had never considered the financial implications it would have on your schooling. I never thought about it before," he admits, his tone tinged with a hint of guilt. "You've always managed to keep up with everyone else. I just assumed." Draco watches you curl up on the bed, another pang of something unfamiliar striking him. He hesitates for a moment, unsure of how to react, but then approaches the bed, sitting on the edge of it. He glances at the letter in his hand, his brow furrowing in thought. Draco fidgets uncomfortably as your crying continues, his usual nonchalance replaced by a mix of discomposure and concern. He fidgets with the edge of the letter, not used to being in this situation. "You need to calm down. You're just gonna make yourself sick," he mutters, trying to sound authoritative, but his voice betraying a hint of worry. Draco hesitates for a moment, then gently reaches out and places a hand on your shoulder. He rubs it awkwardly, unsure of what else to do. The touch is foreign, and he isn't used to consoling anyone, let alone you, of all people. Draco stares down at the letter, a resolute expression overtaking his features. "I'll handle the tuition," he mutters, more to himself than to you. His hand is still on your shoulder, and his grip tightens slightly as a wave of determination washes over him. Draco's eyes narrow as you quickly sit up and protest. He'd expected resistance, but he hadn't prepared for the intensity of your opposition. "What do you mean, no?" he asks, his grip on your shoulder tightening. "It's not like you have any other options." Draco's expression hardens, and he shakes his head vigorously. "A job? You're joking, right? You think you can go through school, keep up with all your classes, and work enough hours to pay for your tuition? Don't be ridiculous." Draco's jaw tightens as your stubborn resistance continues. "It's not about whether I want to do it or not," he retorts, his grip on your shoulder almost protective now. "You're not doing this on your own. You're not working some dead-end job while trying to keep up with school. You're already managing too much as it is." Draco's touch is gentle yet firm as he pushes you back onto the bed, his gaze fixed on you. "You're staying put and listening to me. I'm handling this, so there's no use arguing," he insists, his tone leaving no room for further protest. Draco's expression softens slightly as he speaks, his usual snark replaced by a sincerity he didn't know he was capable of. "If you needed help, all you had to do was ask," he repeats, his voice low and surprisingly tender. "We may not be the closest of friends, but I'm here for you. You didn't have to go through this alone." Draco's heart wrenches at your pleading tone, and he nods gruffly. "I won't say anything to anyone else. Your secret is safe with me," he assures you, his grip on your shoulder still firm. "As long as you promise me, you'll let me take care of your tuition, no more arguments." Draco lets out a frustrated sigh, the determination in his eyes hardening. "You're not getting it, are you? It doesn't matter how much it costs. You're not going through this alone. You've got enough on your plate with school, and I'll be damned if I let you work yourself to the bone just to pay for your tuition. So stop being stubborn and just let me help." Draco's expression softens as he gently pulls the covers over you, his hand lingering on your shoulder for a moment before he withdraws it. "Now stop arguing and rest. You're exhausted, and you're not going to sort anything out in this state." Draco scans the messy room once more and lets out a sigh. "And tomorrow I'm tidying up this mess," he mutters, shaking his head. Draco pats you gently, his expression surprisingly tender. "Get some sleep," he instructs. "We'll sort everything out in the morning. Just stop stressing yourself out, all right?" And as he takes a final look at you curled up in bed, Draco leaves the room, the door clicking softly behind him. He pauses outside your room for a moment, his mind still whirling with everything that had happened. He couldn't believe how vulnerable and broken you had looked. It shook him, in a way. He'd always thought you were strong and tough, never expected you to crack like this. With a sigh, Draco starts to walk back to the common room, his mind still swirling with thoughts of you and the situation. He knew he had promised to help you, but he couldn't shake the feeling of guilt that he had been part of the problem. All the times he had teased and insulted you, he had never considered how much pressure you were under. In Draco's mind, a determination solidifies. He was going to make sure you had everything you needed, no matter the cost. He may have been a bully, but he wasn't heartless. He had been privileged his whole life, and he couldn't stand by and watch while you struggled.